We're good, thank you very much. Sariga in the house. Welcome back to Decentrahype. Just moving my camera, looking in the right place. Hope you're having a great time here. Chester, can you please mute your mic? I can hear myself. It's very, very annoying. Thank you very much. Cool. Hope you're having a great day. We are out here trading away, and there are some beautiful trades ahead if we go in certain directions and we don't just go sideways and flaccidate. Chester, how's it going over there? Do you want to do a little bit of the old short-termy work?
Yeah, all good, man. Hope everyone's having a fantastic day. I see we've got Sariga in the house coming through already. If you are sat on the stream watching, make sure you say hello so we can say hello to you. Yeah, I'm going to be starting off with the short-term time frame here with BTC, and that is going to be the 1 hour. So yeah, starting off with the 1 hour for BTC here. Let me just jump to that. Share the tab with you guys so you can see what's going on, because I do want to reference what we were talking about last time here. That's not right. Yeah, last time that we were talking on the stream here, and we were actually looking at this falling parallel channel coming through, and we were looking at potential break to the upside. As you can see, we did actually see that coming through very, very strong indeed. We did have a bullish divergence coming through on the midterm time frame as well, which did mean the breakout was pretty significant as well. So yeah, nice 1.87% made there, guys. Had the really nice candle body close above the 55 EMA on the hourly as well. So that was the confirmation I was really looking for there. Didn't quite make 1.87%, made around 1.18, something along the lines of that. So yeah, not too bad there. Now let's talk about the price action of what we're actually seeing right now. So let's get rid of that TA for a second. We're actually seeing a bit of a range be created here on the short term time frame, guys. And that's something along the lines of this in terms of the support on the lower side and also the resistance that we're currently testing right now in terms of this live candle. We are going to see a candle body close for the hourly in about 6 minutes time, which is going to be very interesting to see, because we did see a bit of a near enough a little doji start at the top side of this mini micro uptrend here, which obviously shows uncertainty after testing this resistance here on the top side that we were just talking about. So this basically puts us into a parallel channel scenario, right? Completely parallel, completely straight, could go either way here. So this is what we want to look at the actual more of the macro trend here, right? And at this time, this is down, right? So I would expect this to be, at the moment, just looking at these two factors, to be coming down here, having that resistance coming through. We've also got the 200 EMA, 200 SMA coming down as well, which is going to be showing us resistance. So yeah, overall, looking fairly bearish right now. In terms of measure moves, what we could be looking at to the upside and the downside, I'd be doing something like this, going on the most recent uptrend. If we are going to see a long position coming through, I don't really want to go long here, but but yeah, if that's going to be the upside, this is going to be the downside coming through like so. And guys, once we're done with BTC, we will be doing some altcoin requests. So make sure you get your altcoin requests in the chat as well. This is going to be the move to the downside around 4.41%. You can see also volume slowly trending down as well. That's also a very good breakout sign as well. I mean, to be honest, I'm probably not going to be placing any trade if we're still sat in this area, unless there's a really nice sideways money indicator trade coming through. So we'll just have to have a look at that and see if there's anything really. But right now, it is still pretty undecided after that horrific dump that we did see the other day. In terms of what we're seeing for the RSI right now, we did get pretty high, but not quite as high as we did before. So there's not really any divergences that we could really take into consideration. We are seeing the uptrend basically fizzle off as well, coming through into that bearish crossover. So that'd be something to look out for there as well. Gonna move to the longer term time frame, probably the 4 hour here, and see what we got going through there. Look, share this tab instead. Here we go. Get rid of them. So yeah, as you can see, falling wedge chart pattern coming through here, guys. You can see coming up, testing the top side of this falling wedge. Falling wedges tend to usually break to the upside here. So I would say if we do get a nice congruent breakout, then we would see a move up. But Yeah, it's pretty horrific, right? We lost the support on the Fibonacci retracement coming through as well on the 0.236, I think. Yeah, 0.236 Fibonacci retracement. We just lost that in terms of support. So we do have another 1 hour left to see where this next candle body close is going to be for this 4 hour. So if that is going to be below the price of around 20,336, then I would expect momentum to the downside. We also do have a trap zone coming through, which we did discuss before, which is that horrific wick to the upside, bouncing off the 55 EMA. And you can see we actually tapped that pretty recently in terms of that trend line for this chart pattern. So I probably would expect a bit more downwards momentum if we do get this candle body close below the Fibonacci on the 4 hour. We can also see the 21 EMA here coming through that we're testing on the 4 hour at 20,187, and also the 10 simple, which we might find support on as well. So yeah, bit of an undecided area right now. But to be honest, the macro is it's horrific. So I probably would expect downwards momentum coming through. We also I was talking about this bullish divergence coming through on the 4 hour, guys, and this is why we are seeing a bit of upwards momentum coming through. I mean, to be honest, this steepness coming through from here, it's not really been that reflected here on the chart, right? It's not been reflected like in terms of that buying strength. I would have expected more, but the reason why is because it's come up, it's gone sideways, it's come up, it's gone sideways, it's gone sideways. And when this happens with the RSI, guys, we know it brings us back to that central point. So that's why it's very steep and not quite explosive. But that still does mean there could be some momentum in the tank left for this bullish divergence here. So please be aware for that if you are going to be trading this filthy asset. But yeah, that's going to be it from me in terms of a short-term analysis. Do you want to jump in, Hammy, and do a longer term?
I will indeed. I will indeed. Just a little flex here, guys. My Fold 4 just arrived. Look at this bad boy. Juicy, as Chester likes to say. Good stuff. I'm just going to be charting. I'm going to be making videos of this thing wherever I am on the island in Samui here. So yeah, it's going to be good. Lots more content coming through from my channel and this channel as well, right? So let's jump in to some beautiful daily price action here and just see what it looks like. What's going on? How's it going? Hope you're having a great day as well. Who we got in the chat? We got Sriga. That's about it. If you are just lurking in the chat, be sure to say what you're doing. Say hi. We love to see you guys out here. And without further ado, let's jump in here. So if we are looking at this right now, we're saying, hey, yes, we did break down from this ginormous structure here, this beautiful channel in which we did bounce here and confirm this, right? And then from that point, we fizzled out. We hit this 10 SMA and we got absolutely obliterated. What this did, it initiated, technically anyway, it initiated a measure move down to potentially 17.6, 17.7, that kind of area. And that would just be taking the most recent wave here, you can see, and then just bringing that down here to this kind of area. So that's really cool. That's something that I would potentially be looking to trade. And I did say in my video yesterday on Hamilton of Crypto that basically if we lose this low here at 19.5, I would be taking a short, looking for a short down for the rest of this measure move and just playing that out, playing out scalps as well on the lower time frames off the 7 SMA with the webinar strategy on the hourly, right? So as this goes down, just basically playing that down for a few percentage moves and a few percentage gains on the way there. If we're looking at this in terms of it potentially being a trap, there are a few catalysts here that could produce that, one of which would be the hash ribbons, which has disappeared here. There we go, beautiful stuff. So the hash ribbons here coming through with a long just before we did break down from this. If this is a trap, then it would be a very nice bit of momentum towards the upside if we get above this kind of 22.5k area, in which I'll be looking for some beautiful trades. But we're not getting into the big investment longs here as we are on the daily, right? It's important to be talking about investment longs and bigger swing trades. I won't really be looking for the big dons here until we really get over 25, 26k. But you guys know that if you have been following the channel so far. And yeah, besides that, you could draw a few different versions of resistance down here. What I've done is just go off these wicks here and then this candle body where we most recently got rejected in correlation with that 10 SMA, as we've said, right? So just kind of creeping over this trend line right now is great. It's okay, but I mean, Again, this can be interpreted a few different ways. That's just not what I wanted to do. Yeah, this can be interpreted a few different ways, right, based on these wicks and how these work, right? So we could technically be under it based on this, as you can see, right? So we're not like completely bullish at all just yet, but it's important to kind of go back to what Chester was saying here, where we're saying, hey, yes, we are in some kind of wedge structure. We are kind of consolidating in this area, and we have actually made a higher low. So what I would say here with this one is, again, as I said yesterday, don't be banging in longs just yet, but if we do get over this kind of 20,800 area, and you can see this kind of horizontal area as well from our last low before we bounced, right? If we can get above there, then there will be a pretty decent trade for about 2.5%, maybe even 3% here if we're feeling pretty nice about it. So yeah, about 2.5% there if we can find that trade, but be patient with this. This could take a lot of time. And then just to summarize here on the daily, essentially we are still we are still below all major moving averages here, so that's not necessarily bullish just yet or anything. But again, this air pocket here, when we're getting above this 20,800 as we just talked about, between the 10 SMA and the 21 EMA, and this beautiful trend line that we have basically from our channel. Yeah, and also after we break down from channels, we do like to retest the trend line before going down. So this is actually quite a decent trade to be looking for if we can get above that 20,800 for a nice scalp. Whether we do get rejected after that, up for debate. Anything can happen here in this market. There are a lot of things that can drag us down right now, but again, long hash ribbon signal, I would be hoping that we go up from this point, because the data on this indicator itself is just so good. So when we can kind of negate all of those bad catalysts that can bring us down, then we can start looking at some beautiful long trades towards the upside, and potentially a very bull market-esque uptrend that is going to be very easy to trade for you guys. So if that is something that's interesting for you guys, obviously we know how to trade in sideways, bull, bear, whatever, right? Over your leg, through your shoulder, whatever, right? We know how to trade in all scenarios, and that's not a boast. That's just from our experience over the combined, like 8 years that we've been trading, probably closer to 10 years that we've been trading together. So yeah, this is fantastic stuff. And combined, I'm saying, by the way, right, Chester, I see you look. Yeah, but combined, that's what a lot of people say, right? In teams, it's your combined experience, which can kind of add. And obviously, guys, when you have less experience as well, you're actually having more of a modern experience, so that means your experience is going to be more valid. So yeah, interesting stuff as well. So when you are eyeing up projects as well, just a completely side note here, when you are eyeing up projects and you see stuff like that, it's actually quite valid anyway, to be seeing that. But yeah, back to the chart here, we can see that essentially that we do have this air pocket, and this is going to be the zone that I'm looking for, the juicy juice, right, as Chester says. So yeah, if we can get into this zone, find a long, beautiful stuff. If we get rejected though, again, just going to be looking for that short from this and playing this down as it comes. And then just let's take a look back at this this wedge structure and what that trade might entail. So I'll basically be looking for a bounce, first of all, off of 18.8, boom, and then a retest, and then breaking that low for the beginnings of a short here, coming down for just this measure move anyway, right down to 18K. 17, I think it was 17.7, right? 17.7 isn't far away from there, so I imagine there'll be some kind of box here where we could consolidate as well, in which we could easily bounce from as well. So if we do want to complete this measure move here, and it's really the do-all end-all here, summary here for Bitcoin, is this measure move. When this measure move is done, then that is going to be a great sign for us potentially if we can start breaking resistances and getting some moves up. If we do that beforehand, it would basically be due to this kind of anchoring us up towards the sky here and dragging us like a balloon all the way up. And we've seen this before in the market so many times with hash ribbons, so that's going to be something I'm definitely looking out for and definitely looking forward to as time progresses. Anyone would like us to do any altcoins, feel free. Is there anything that is interesting you out there at the moment, Chester?
Not quite interesting me, but I know that a lot of people will be trading it, right? Because it's obviously done, I think it's done like 10% today or something like that. And the coin that I'm talking about is CRV. So I'm going to be sharing and doing a little bit of TA on CRV right now, because I don't want you guys to get too confident with this, because I know you get, as you said, Hammy, the FOMO tingles when it starts to absolutely bang it to the moon. I think let's jump to the watch list quickly. Yeah, up around 8.66% before we saw this micro pullback coming through. So I'm going to be starting off on the hourly here, guys, because I don't want you to get the wrong impression and just want to jump in this because you feel like you're going to miss out, right? So let's just have a look at what's actually happened here. Just zooming out a bit, we'll probably go on the 4 hour actually. We'll start on the 4 hour and let's just see what we're actually working with right now. You can see this level of support coming through from where we bounced previously. You can see we didn't bounce on that. We actually tested it for resistance and slammed it down to the ground, which to be honest, completely expected in this filthy, horrible bear market. And obviously with Bitcoin crashing like it is, then obviously CRV is probably going to do the same because altcoins are really doing that. But we have seen quite a lot of confidence from this lower level of support. And the support in terms of a price that I'm talking about is around 97 cents. We've tested this not once, not twice, but 3 times a lady coming through here. From there, we've absolutely banged it up. And you can see we actually were creating this downward sloping resistance line coming through, testing this multiple times as well. And we have actually seen a potential break, right? The potential break for this descending triangle is actually going to be a measure move, something along the lines of this, guys. And this could actually bring the price of us all the way back up to this top side of the range, right? The top side of the range that I'm talking about, which is obviously this range here. Okay, so this is going to be creating some sort of parallel triangle chart pattern, parallel channel chart pattern coming through. So it's definitely something to be looking out for there. But the reason why I wanted to touch on this ever so quickly, but was just because we are actually seeing a bearish divergence coming through. Okay, this is going to be pretty crucial, and obviously after seeing such a significant pump, obviously after leading the watch list in terms of like the leader today in terms of the reacting to Bitcoin's pump, I would expect downside right now. And definitely us coming down to at least this horizontal around 1.13. So if anyone is in some gains here, for me personally, I would be taking some profit. That's all I can say there. But yeah, so I wouldn't say just jumping out. If you really were looking for an entry, obviously I'm not a financial advisor at all, I would be using this level that I just put in there around $1.13 there as a level of support. If you did want a nice little move, because you can see the support that we have had off this bad boy before has been pretty good stuff. Okay, yes, we do get a resistance. That does help. I mean, it does happen, but yeah, there is lovely levels of support being formed there. So yeah, maybe we might actually see a nice move up and basically seeing the continuation of this momentum, depending obviously on what Bitcoin does there. But yeah, that's what I would say about CRV. I think my chart's a bit too big. Let me if you guys couldn't see that very well, then I apologize for that. It definitely looks a lot better on the stream like that. But yeah, definitely something to be looking out for there, guys. But just please don't just be jumping into this, because you can see we are going to get probably quite a nice sell-off now, and we do need to set a significant higher low coming through, at least for some sort of market structure. So this area is definitely something to watch there. But yeah, have we got any altcoin requests in the chat? I see Sarigara wants a bit of BNB. Do you want to do BNB, Hammy, and then I'll do Chris? I'll do Stella for Chris there. And I see Arjun in the chat saying hello, Chester. Hello to you, sir.
What's up? We're seeing Chris, we're seeing Mr. Miles and Arjun. What is good? Hope you're all having a fantastic day. Let's jump into BNB. I love these exchange coins. They are just beautiful to trade right now. And one of the reasons why I do love exchange coins while this loads, right, is essentially grid bots, right? I talk about grid bots a lot. I'm kind of like a grid bot cultist at this point on my channel. It's pretty crazy, but there's a reason for that. As a trader, I basically can figure out a range and let this thing oscillate in a bear market, in a sideways market where it is volatile, and just let it fill orders and just make money automatically with no stress, right? So the reason why I love exchange coins is because they're volatile. They are going to be around as long as the exchange is around, right? As long as Mr. Old Sam doesn't shut them down, right? And yeah, I just feel like exchange coins will be around for as long as the exchanges are around. So they're not just going to get rugged and deleted like any of these coins can do. Like we've seen with Luna this year, crazy stuff. So yeah, it's something that I feel safe putting a grid on. And if we do lose our lows, I feel like it can get stable again if Bitcoin does want to go back up. And we know Bitcoin at this point will not just go to zero, right? I'm still expecting it to be the ultimate deflationary safe haven asset over time, right? It has these mad swings, but yeah, exchange coins will be something that does thrive with that, much like Ethereum, much like some of these other coins out there as well that have done the distance. Monero I'm thinking of as well, right? Doing pretty well over the years. So yeah, let's start with BNB here. And if you do have any requests, throw it in the chat while I do tackle this. Let's take a look at this and just see what's good. Zoom in on out here, and we're looking at the 4 hour. Okay, so we had that beautiful, and this was kind of congruent across all things, right? All assets as Bitcoin pumped. We had this kind of nice parabolic curve towards the sky here, an exponential curve as we like to call it. Then we broke structure, we had a dirty dump, and now we are consolidating. This is pretty natural, right? I would be worried if this thing basically did crazy dumps compared to everything else, but it seems pretty in line with the rest of the market right now, so I'm not too worried about BNB. Again, I love exchange coins, good stuff. So yeah, let's take a look at this pattern right now. A beautiful little wedge. You're probably wondering why I haven't drawn from these areas here, and the reason for that is because these are basically blatantly obvious traps. You can see this, right? Very, very disgusting candles here coming through, candle formation. So what I've done here is found better correlative points coming through here, as you can see, but it is still pretty volatile. It's an altcoin. So yeah, just in case I am wrong here, this is why we have the trap zone at the bottom at the lowest wick in a parallel with that correlative kind of consolidational point. So, yeah, if we're looking at that, we can say, hey, yes, we have this wedge structure. This top line is pretty solid, right? I wouldn't call these traps, so they're pretty drawable. Okay, I could put a little trap zone here as well, up to there, but it's not really worth it. There's not really a high enough wick here to go with that, which is good, right? That basically means that, yeah, I mean, we could be getting in a position on this very, very soon if we would like. So, yeah, let's take a look at the measure move on this. So we're going with the most recent wave here inside the pattern. I'm expecting something like this. So, yeah, if we do get up there, it'll be something like this. And looking for a breakout somewhere around 293 if that is the case. If we don't get above 293, I don't really care about this. I'm not too interested. You can see it's quite volatile and trappy right now. Just dirty. We've got a Grogu here, right? We've got Darth Maul up there. So, yeah, I feel like while we're inside this, it doesn't really matter. You don't need to be forcing yourself into trades. We can take a look at the 1 hour as well, but just looking at the 4 hour, if the 4 hour looks like this, the further you go down, it's just going to get worse, right? It's just going to get worse. You can see that. So, yeah, just bringing it back to the point here, the 4 hour, if we do get over this 293 area, then it'll be an interesting time to potentially be looking at a long. I'll be obviously looking at Bitcoin as well and seeing where that's going. If this can kind of go in line with Bitcoin getting over 20,800, as we've talked about, right, then that's going to be something that kind of correlates and you can trade for probably more profit as well, right? Altcoins are going to do more percentage moves than Bitcoin in that sense. You can see 5% here. Bitcoin would be around 3% if it does go from that move from 20.8 up, right? So if we are looking at that, where would I get in here? What would be the area in which I would say, right, I am actually going long right now? Okay, so yes, if we go up above this, what I'll be looking for is probably a little bit of consolidation in this area generally, just based on this kind of area here in the same horizontal. So there's a few ways you can play this. If you're a super cautious trader, you could probably try and target something a bit higher. The issue here is this one, right? We can see how much percentage is here, but then we've also got this bad boy as well, which will be a pivot kind of pushing down with the sell pressure on there. So that would be okay. It's not a bad trade. 1%, 1.7%, not too bad if you do find that, but it does feel like we're missing out a little bit on this move. So what I would say here, if you are less of a cautious trader, I would probably be looking to reclaim this low here, right? So we're looking at 295, and the reason and the way that we get to that, would be essentially us coming up, hitting that, finding a high, right, retesting this, and then breaking that high. As we break this high, then what we would be looking for is the entry to the long, right? And it's a common sense thing, right? You break out, you retest, and you bang it, and if you get over that high, typically it is a sign that you can continue the trend. Not always the case, obviously. This is a great example of where it wasn't the case, but again, hitting an important resistance there kind of negates the high break rule, right? But if we are looking at that, yeah, 295, so testing 295, coming back down, testing 290, and then breaking 295 would be my conditions to get in along here. And let's just take a look at the percentages and the take profits there that I would be looking for. So yeah, around 5%, beautiful stuff, 4.78 if we're going to be exact. Would I hold the trade that long? Probably not. I'd probably close the rest that I have left in around this area, which is at 307. As well as that, I would be looking to take profit in these areas as well. So again, an entry here, we'd be looking at here for 1.5%, basically dot on 300 would be a pretty good area. Again, these round numbers in crypto and in trading in general are typically, I think I got something in my eye. I've just got like blurry vision on my right eye, but we'll carry on. Yeah, we can see here that that yeah, this is going to be a prominent point to get over. So that is a point where we could potentially get rejected, right? So you want to be taking some profit there. Again, just common sense coming through and proving to be right. And then what else here in terms of a midway take profit? I'd probably look for this wick here, right there. And this is getting pretty messy, but yeah, 2.7 here would be that. So again, you got to think about these as all separate trades, right? So getting in with 3 positions, take profit, take profit, take profit, and then yeah, close the trade. You're good. You've made the money, free money for everyone, right? But again, you want that kind of test, retest, break the high to get into that anyway. And if that doesn't happen, it's okay. There's plenty of trades. You can always find another trade, and that's what we're really here to teach you guys, right? Patience is so key in this market. You can't just be saying, hey, we're pumping here, I'm getting in because we're going to hit this trend line and then we're going to make money. No, you need really good parameters to get that working. And when it is looking volatile, when things aren't adding up so much, then it's better to just wait for when they are. And then when that happens, you're going to be way more consistent, way more profitable, and way more probable to maintain and grow your account. That's what I would say here with BNB. If we're looking towards the downside, which is still a possibility here, then this is actually an interesting one, right? Because it actually doesn't look too bad here, just looking at the candle structure, right? So we've come here, we've broken over this this more recent resistance line, and yeah, it looks like we potentially could be going up here to test this top line. So let's just say that we do test this top line and we're looking for a measure move down. And it doesn't really matter. I just want to get the whole measure move in case that happens and we get rejected. If we do just go down, then the measure move would be a little bit smaller, something like this. And yeah, I mean, we'd need to get below this trap zone, which is still, again, pretty decent profit, 2.5%. You can't complain there. It's decent, right? And again, that's 1x, no leverage, all good, right? But yeah, if we're going for the full length of that, let's say we do test and kind of get up there. Let's take a look here. Yeah, about 3.7 again towards the downside, which makes sense, right? So yeah, that would be a pretty decent trade. And again, just looking for that zigzag. I'd probably look for us to test down here to this parallel and then the zigzag, break the low, and then from that point, boom, straight to the ground, and then looking for take profits at previous pivots as well. So really easy stuff. I don't want to get too repetitive here, but again, 264. Looking at 261, and basically exactly the same thing here. So yeah, basically the same towards the other side that we just explained. And that's pretty much that for BNB. I do just want to check out the daily here, see how we're doing, see how we're operating. Yeah, pretty much the same as the rest of the market, as we we're saying, right? It would be nice to kind of get above this high, this 338 area, because that would be the beginnings of signs that we're potentially flipping this market around and getting bullish. And the reason for that is these pivots here, where we basically finished our run towards the sky, and then from that point tested these and bounced off these a couple times before eventually losing it. So when we can reclaim those again, that's going to be a time where it's looking very nice indeed. Do we have a little request over there, Chester?
Yes, I've got my Stellar chart all nice and prepped, so I'll jump to that because I'm going to be doing Stellar for... Who was that for? That was for Chris. It was for Chris. So yeah, I'll be doing Stellar for Chris, going into a nice amount of detail to find out what we could actually be looking for here for Stellar. Going to be starting off on the daily chart because it's pretty horrific, okay? It's pretty horrific, but we can't really blame Stellar here because obviously it's a filthy bear market here. The one thing that I would say about Stellar right now is it's actually holding this level of support on the lower side. I mean, I can't count how many times we tested this, just ridiculous amounts of times here. But the bad news that I would say is if we are going to be drawing chart patterns coming through from here, then we would be doing something along the lines of this, and this would be a descending triangle, guys. Descending triangles usually means a continuation chart pattern to the downside. So if we do break here, then if Bitcoin is going to take another leg down, what I really would be looking for here is some sort of move coming down, probably along the lines of this, and that will bring Stellar to a price of around $7. Okay, in terms of percentages, this is obviously on the macro, guys. In terms of percentages, it is basically saying that Stellar could have another 25% cut from its actual current price, which is obviously horrific. But if we're shorting this market, it's all good for us. So that's definitely something to take into consideration. But let's jump down to the shorter term timeframes, a bit more of the micro, and see what we could potentially be looking for there, and also anticipating what Stellar will be doing if Bitcoin will be doing the same thing, right? So what do we have here? We've obviously got that massive boxed area that we were talking about on the macro a second ago, but we do have a falling wedge chart pattern in terms of the most recent price action that we're seeing. Falling wedge chart pattern coming through, guys. tends to usually mean that we break to the upside, okay? It does tend to usually mean that we break to the upside, not have a complete reversal in the trend and go to the moon. I'm saying we have a measure move and we usually have a bit of momentum to the upside and have a break. A little bit reversing the trend, just respecting market structure in terms of setting lower highs and stuff like that, testing moving averages and all of that good stuff. So what I would be looking for here, if I was going to be going for a short for Stellar for you here, Chris, it would be probably a little bit of a move to the upside, just going on the chart pattern and also looking at the current state of what we're looking for here. Bit of a nice bullish candle there, still testing the low. Haven't really set a proper solid lower high yet. I wouldn't really be counting these as really solid lower highs as of yet. I want to see a bit more of a pullback before we actually see that, and then we'll be looking for the break of the low as well. So what I would be looking for here for the move to the upside, just to reiterate that, it is a measure move of around 4.44%. But nice to know Fibonacci's on my side, but it is going to be, I would really be looking for around 1%. The reasoning for this is, guys, is because you can see it will be a level of support coming through on the top side of this massive box that we were talking about a second ago on the macro, and also it's a gap that is trending across multiple moving averages here as well. Now, in terms of resistance, let's jump back to the macro for a second, because this horizontal that I've got drawn in here for our take profit is literally sat on a very key level of testing, very key level of testing levels of support and resistance here. Okay, so we don't want to be basically trapped out by the resistance, basically slamming us down like so. You can see that candle body open there, smashing it all the way down. We don't want to be a part of that. We want to be getting in, getting out, making that 1%. So you can see that's the reason I've got my take profit in around that sort of area. And then also on the hourly as well, moving averages looking, well, we've got a lot of gap, we've got a lot of space, we've got a little empty fish tank waiting for us to basically make the money. Okay, so that's the 1% for that chart pattern to be looking out for there. And also there was something else. There was a bullish divergence on the MACD. If I can get the chart up, it's going to work. Here we go. Yeah, bullish divergence coming through here on the MACD, comparing that to the live price. As you can see there, didn't quite get it on the RSI because the selling power was too strong, but we did get it on the MACD in terms of the trend here, guys. So what I really would be looking for would be continuation. What is this doing? Would be continuation of this MACD trend coming through from here. But right now we are potentially seeing it fizzle out a bit, right? This could mean that we could see a bearish crossover coming through here. If that is the case, then I would expect a bit of downwards momentum. But if we do see the upwards momentum, if we do actually compare this to Bitcoin on the short-term time frame, so let's have a look at that for a second. If we see any more upwards momentum here for Bitcoin here, then I would expect, you can see the gaps are fairly similar. Okay, yes, the measure move for Bitcoin is 4.41% to the what is it? It's a volume weighted ATR band. To the volume weighted ATR band on the hourly, but you can see what we would be looking for here is something along the lines of that for Stellar. I think it's a lot easier for Stellar to do 1% than BTC. So basically, what I'm looking out for BTC is a lovely break of this level of resistance. If we can get that nice solid candle body close, probably on the hourly, might be looking at something on the 4 hours, something along the lines of this. And then if it starts to go up a bit, then we know Stellar could literally just go bang, nice 1% made very quick. So that's how I would be referencing BTC to XLM right now. And obviously, I would be looking at the most current candle for the hourly and seeing what we're working with, because the last candle, that's let me share this tab instead. That is pretty horrific in terms of bearishness. Okay, so to be honest with you, in terms of going back to market structure here, yes, the falling wedge does break to the upside, but right now we are looking at potentially setting a lower high here, and also after breaking that low. So yeah, it's not great here, but if there is going to be a 1% move to the upside, that's still going to be respecting market structure, and that's sort of the area that I would be looking for if I was trading Stellar for you there, Chris. Can I see any more requests in the chat? Sorry, I scrolled up actually. Did we have one ready for you, Hammy? I'm not sure.
Not that I can see. We can take a look at Ethereum. Oh no, we have AVAX.
Oh yeah, I see AVAX in there. Yeah, that's for Peter. Nice to see you on the stream there again, Peter. That's like 3 times in a row, I think. Good to see you on the stream there, man. Do appreciate it. And I see 6 likes as well, guys. Do appreciate you smashing that thumbs up. Does help us out tremendously in terms of the YouTube algos. Obviously, we are a new channel coming through, and it really helps us out, honestly. So appreciated.
Alrighty, let's get this going. Starting AVAX here is on the daily. Let's take a look at this again. Still pretty correlated with the market compared to BNB. What I did just then, it's kind of in a similar position. I would say probably slightly worse off just looking at this, but it's not the end of the world, right? This is a great project typically, so hopefully it does do well over time. We're going to draw some trend lines in here, pretty similar to BTC, not like fantastic on this this high to draw from. We could draw from Wix, which is a lot more correlative, as you can see. So yeah, I'll probably go more in that direction, but again, not great here, not perfect, but what can you do? That's just the way it be sometimes. And yeah, basically I'll be looking at 20.62 here for any kind of bullish momentum. Let's take a look at the moving averages as well. Yeah, nice little air pocket here as well. So if I was looking for a long trade on this thing, it would be somewhere around this area, as we've just said, right? So 20.62 coming through all the way up to potentially 22, and that's pretty nice percentage moves, taking profit of these wicks along the way on the daily anyway. If we go down to a 4 hour, we can check this out and see that yeah, I mean, pretty similar across the board here for both sides here. So yeah, I mean, 20.62 actually here on a 4 hour may kind of get rejected by this 55. So what I would do is probably wait, and by the time this gets up here, yeah, the 55 will probably be below that anyway, right? Just based on it from my experience. So that would be okay, I guess, to be looking for a position somewhere around here. So September 1st, tomorrow here, kind of midday, if it wants to go in that direction. Obviously, these things can go any direction at any time, but we'll see how this goes. If I were going to keep it fluid, if I were going to look at this in a fluid way, and if it was in a healthy kind of structural ascent, then yeah, something like that would be interesting. The other thing here, which is slightly more concerning for this thing, is essentially this, right? So we have this area here, we have this low put in here. It's not fantastic low, not too amazing to be kind of watching, but if we are going to call it structure with a loose tongue here, we can say that yeah, I mean, if we do get up to this point, will we break structure first? I think it's quite plausible, particularly hitting this price action channel and these moving averages as well. But I mean, got 30 minutes left on this candle on the 4 hour. So what I can say here is, yeah, if we can finish that above both of these moving averages, so the 7 SMA and the 21 EMA, then it's going to be a bit more of a fun time here for potentially heading up and maintaining this. What we really want to see is actually a pump through here above this high, and then kind of hitting this area and then kind of grinding up for another wave, right? If we do just grind along this, then it's not going to be as great, just because we could literally just dump off at any time. So just be careful of that. Be aware of that if you are trading this. In terms of the short side here, though, let me see if there's a pattern here that works. I think we do have something here. It's not great though. We've got this high here, which could be deemed a trap, so the validity is in question. We're going to get rid of this for now. And yeah, I'll also get rid of the moving averages and just focus on the patterns here, right? So yeah, we could also draw from this low here and just make that wedge that we're seeing on a lot of other charts as well. And again, the way that works is, yeah, there will be potentially measure moves here towards the upside. But again, I'm not really too interested in this until it gets above this kind of area, and particularly above that 55 that we're just talking about, right? So this kind of zone. And that's not the end of the world. This just kind of deems our potential percentage gains after that. And you can see here with some of these altcoins, the measure moves are going to be a lot bigger, because altcoins are more volatile, right? So yes, we can see that that is 5.7% potentially here that you could kind of claim, and I would definitely take a lot of profit around this kind of pivot area. So that's around yeah, 21.8 as well. So yeah, that would be kind of the long side trade if I were looking for one. But again, typically I would be looking for a break of this, but there's just so much that could kind of trap us and push us down here that I'm not really too interested just yet, and I'm happy to sacrifice half of this measure move to really just make 5% anyway, and 5% is a lot, right, for a trader anyway. So that's good stuff. Towards the downside here, and I do just want to bring your attention to the volume weighted ATR band as well. We've got over it, we've retested it, and we've made a higher low here as well. So yeah, it's actually looking okay, but again, just be aware of that structure, and just be aware that we could easily get toppled here and come down. So be watching this volume weighted ATR band as well as your kind of middle point for this pattern. I don't think I'd be taking any trades until we actually lose this low here, just looking looking at this. And if we do lose this low, this is the problem with the downside, right? There's just so much that we can bounce on the way down here as well. So that's 16.3, 15.7 that we could bounce on quite easily. I just realized I've got this up. There we go. Beautiful stuff. Hopefully that was all visible and not too small for you guys to see. But yeah, just kind of in conclusion here, if we do get rejected, I'd probably avoid this whole area for a trade personally, just as a cautionary trader anyway. But there may be some moves here that you can kind of capitalize on anyway. So again, if we can find somewhere here, that's 3%, right? I don't think I want to be trading this area around so many pivots, so we'll skip that. But if it does, that's not the right thing. If we skip that, we come down another 6% here that we could potentially get if we can kind of confirm below this. So the ultimate best scenario here, if we do come down, and I know this is a huge dump, don't get me wrong, it's 25%, but not in altcoin land, right? Altcoins will just whip around so much, right? So what I'd be looking for here generally is to come down first, right? And this may take a few days to actually get down there. If we get down, again, it's not looking horrific, the fact that we bounced on this, but yeah, it's just kind of in this neutral middle ground right now where we could go either way. So yeah, it's important to be eyeing up both sides for sure, okay? So yeah, I'll be looking to kind of avoid this, look for kind of a bounce in this area, maybe some consolidation, and then coming down and looking for that short, coming down basically from 15.6 down to 14.6, and that's a pretty decent percentage, 6% coming through as well there. I will take a glimpse at the hourly because it doesn't look too bad. I mean, it's still pretty volatile, but yeah, I mean, I don't feel comfortable drawing a pattern when you got something like this, right? This is just dirty. I wanted to stop this dirty, but yeah, I mean, let me see. I was talking about drawing a pattern in this kind of area, right? But towards this side, it's not actually too bad. We've got some kind of ascending wedge structure forming. So we're going to have a look at that really quick. And maybe there is a trade in this area. But again, this is going to be, the lower you go down, in time frames, your measure moves are going to be way more risky. They're going to be faster, so harder to get into, right? Again, if you're drawing on the 1 minute and you spot a little wedge or something, you're trying to get in, these moves happen so quick on the 1 minute, and the percentages are so small that the risk is so much higher, and you can easily get in a trade when it's already slipped and completed the measure move, and then you're just stuck and you've longed the top or you've shorted the bottom, right? So yeah, important to be considering that when you are going down to these lower time frames, but there may be a big enough percentage move here where we can justify something. So let's just take a look here. I'm really just looking at this kind of area here, right? Can we find a trade in this area? Let's take a look here, and you can see we are kind of testing and dwindling on this structure, if not have already lost it. Again, we drew this on the 4 hour, so we'll have a little bit of leeway here, and we can kind of give that for the traps. And again, all these moving averages completely coiled up right now. So yeah, super important to be watching this like a hawk. But yeah, it's okay to also leave this and be patient if you would like. So yeah, looking at this wedge here, so we're looking at this top line, we're looking at this bottom line, and we're looking at this measure move, which is essentially the most recent wave, right? So if we're looking at that and we're drawing a percentage on it, I'd probably look for the trade from here. Let's just have a look at this percentage here. Okay, 2.7%, not too bad. And if we get down to here, for example, and we've got some pretty decent volume, and then we can bring up the moving averages as well, we can basically say, hey, when we hit this volume, sorry, not this volume weighted ATR, man, I say this so many times, but yeah, if we hit this 7 SMA after coming down and kind of testing this pivot, this support here, then yeah, I mean, breaking that low, looking for that 2.7% is not a terrible idea, okay, but something that I would personally avoid trading a bit higher up in the time frames, and particularly with everything kind of being in this neutral, choppy, consolidational ground here. I would be okay leaving this, and that's absolutely fine if you want to do that too. So yeah, that's cool. And that's pretty much Avaxio coming through. And again, the daily, just yeah, looking to get over this kind of 20 area. And yeah, was it 20.69, something like that? Great number as well. Cool. What are you saying over there, Chester? Oh, God.
Yeah, so got a bit of echo there. Yeah, so I've done a bit of prep on Algo chart because I think what's his name? Mr. Miles wanted a bit of Algo. So yeah, I've done a bit of prep on Algo chart. On the Algo chart, and also I actually had a look at the Algorand website, which is quite cool. So I'm going to throw that up. Actually, I'm going to throw up the Algorand website and just show you guys that quickly, because obviously we know in the crypto space at the moment that energy usage is a huge problem, and that's why we're getting a lot of bad media coverage, and we have done over the last like 3 years and stuff. So it's quite nice to see a blockchain really addressing that and really trying to hit that problem. So this is one thing that I think Algorand are really trying to stand out for, and that is being like the most sustainable, the most energy efficient blockchain out there. So yeah, just wanted to touch on that. If you guys do want to go check that out, they've got quite a few news stories about Earth Day and making a greener future and all this stuff. Granted, probably just a marketing thing, because it's obviously great marketing, and it's probably one of the best things to do to stand out green and be sustainable and all that stuff right now in today's markets, especially with the effect that it's having on the crypto price. And we have seen it over the last few years, right? So yeah, quite nice to see that for Algo. So yeah, guys, if you do want to go check that out, I thought I'd just touch on that briefly. But yeah, back to the chart quickly. Let's jump to that, because it's quite interesting actually seeing what is happening with the algo chart right now. And that is basically, I actually had an old position on there, which is quite nice, did quite well. Didn't quite make 3.89%, but that was the completion of the measure move there. That's not the measure move. That's the... Oh no, we're losing it. We're losing it. There we go. This is the price range that I was looking for here, and you can see take profit 3, I think, was hit in the end. Yeah, I think entry was about there, and then we basically just rode this up to take profit 3 around 2.52%. So it's quite nice seeing that actually play out, and seeing this falling parallel channel actually explode to the upside from there. Not quite all the way to the completion of the measure move, but this is why we stagger our take profits, guys. You know me, I like to have at least as many. I like to have 4, and then have 25% of my equity taken out at each take profit that I hit. And obviously, first take profit hit, stop loss to entry, you know the score, and then we can trail it up from there, or something along those lines, right? Depending on market structure. But yeah, so it's a nice example seeing that come through. But what I'm looking at now for Algorand is probably, every time I say Algorand, I will just want to Algorand. That's all I want to say. So I don't know where it comes from in my subconscious.
Algorand.
Yeah, something like maybe Pokemon or something like from when we were kids or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, so Algorand. You can see here we do have a symmetrical triangle chart pattern, and this is at the bottom of a downtrend, guys. You know what this means? It means it's a bearish pennant chart pattern. This is a continuation chart pattern to the downside, continuation of the most recent trend, and that is a continuation to the downside here. Yes, we're at the top. We're at the top, okay? We're at the top of a lot of chart patterns across most of the crypto space right now. So, do I expect a break to the upside? Probably not. If there is a break to the upside, would I be getting in? Probably. The reason for this is because you can see the gap between major moving averages here, especially on the 4-hour, is actually looking pretty nice. And after seeing all these major take profits actually get tapped here in the last Algorand position that I was in, I'm pretty favorable to this, right? And you can see the volume weighted ATR band coming down as well. So if we do see a break to the upside, I'm probably going to be having just a little dabble into the Algorand chart. Why not? Also, if we break to the downside, money, paper planes, it's going to be there. You're going to be wanting taking that, because it is going to be continuation to the downside, and that is the most likely scenario in this filthy bear market, with obviously BTC as well. In terms of support areas that we're looking for, this is obviously the most recent low at 27 cents there. You can see higher lows, coming through, and you can see lower highs being set, and that's why we are in this symmetrical triangle chart pattern. As I said, this does mean continuation to the downside. So right now, if we do break to the upside, money, paper planes, I'm going to be looking for that juicy long there. Won't be very big, okay? In terms of percentages, it's going to be around 5.72% to the completion of the measure move. But remember, we didn't get there last time, guys. We didn't get there last time. So what's different this time? Nothing. The support and resistance is still the same. So I would be looking for probably 1.74% as my first take profit. I probably would actually be banging in something in here now, because you can see we have had a lot of resistance actually playing through here. So is anything different? Yes. Yes, it is. So yeah, looking for some sort of resistance along this area. So I'd be using that as another take profit there, and that will be around 2.91%, and then 3.35%, and then 4.26%. Okay, so there's quite a lot of take profits up there. It's going to be a position that you want to manage if you are going to be getting into this. Obviously, I'm not a financial advisor. This is just for educational purposes only, but this is what I'm thinking. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty much Algorand overall. We could jump to the daily. I would say level of support is going to be pretty filthy, actually. If we actually break if we actually have the completion of the measurement to the downside here and break the most recent low here for Algorand, I would expect to test the low of the bear market right now for Algorand, and that's probably sat around 27. Yeah, 27 cents 55. Okay, so this is going to be a very, very crucial area for support. You can see we'll probably bounce before then. So if we are going to be shorting this bad boy out of this symmetrical triangle chart pattern, this bearish pennant chart pattern, then I would be looking for areas of take profit here on the daily, right? These are very, very crucial levels of support to be looking out for there. But yeah, that's what I would say about Algorand, I think. I think that's pretty much it. But yeah, definitely go check the website out, guys. It's pretty cool stuff. I don't know if we've got any more requests. I did see ADA and Flux or Kadena, or Sushi. If you want to do any of them, Hammy, it's up to you.
Yeah, we can bang through these really, really quickly. We've got, what, 10 minutes left of the stream, so that is cool. We will jump through these, and hopefully we'll get through them all in time. But yeah, thank you for watching so far. It helps us out a lot, and again, all these likes have been amazing, so thank you very, very much. Let's take a look at this chart. This is trash. What? It just goes down. It just goes down. Let's have a look. We can take a look at this. We can say, hey, I would like to say this is correlated with the rest of the market, but it's just a little bit more choppy, I would say. The daily just looks disgusting. The 4-hour it doesn't actually look like it's trading that well, just looking at some of these candles. But yeah, the rest of the market is doing the same, but this just seems a little bit less nice, I would say, in a sense. But if we are going to draw this, if you're going to force me to draw something on this, we can see a pretty decent little channel coming through. And that kind of goes to show, compared to the correlation with the rest of the market, a lot of these other coins that are doing pretty well are on different patterns, right? They are in mostly wedges at the moment, trying to break out from wedges. So we're seeing this. It's a little bit different, but maybe, just maybe, it does well. Who knows? Who am I to say it doesn't? Although, yeah, so if we could take a look at this, we could say, yeah, 1.69 would be an interesting area to watch. But again, look out for all of these traps. Looks very, very dirty. If you're going to be a bit more cautious here with this thing, I would probably just look at this pivot. I would look at 1.73 and say, hey, yeah, that's a big enough percentage move. If it does want to go with the rest of the market up here, if the market does want to go up, I would be happy just waiting for half this move, right? Let this thing do its thing, chop around, go in circles, do whatever, right? And then when we get the opportunity for this trade and the rest of the market looks good, then this would be an okay thing to be considering, I guess, right? Not something that I will personally be trading. I like to trade a little bit more liquid coins typically. It's just more predictable in that sense, and predictability is profitability, right? So if we are looking at this towards the downside as well, most recent wave, something like this, right? We can say that, yes, if we lose these lows, then I would be expecting a bit of a dumper-rumper towards the downside. And we can say here that 1.5 would be an interesting area to watch. Actually, no, we'll take a look at this one as well. Yeah, 1.48 would be a decent place to be looking for a short as well. So again, a big old dumpy down, and then a retest, and then a breakdown from there. You guys know the deal here with my kind of trading strategy. And this strategy has made me basically all my money in the last bear market and the bull market, and this money, and this bear market as well. So yeah, fantastic stuff, something that I will continue to use as long as it works. Things change all the time in the markets, but this is the one that I've found to be most consistent, this kind of structure coming through. So coming down, testing the support if you are looking for a short, coming up, retesting the pattern, and then breaking that low that you made. And sometimes it can be like a little bit to both sides, and that's why it's important just to look for the low to be put in, and then to break the low, and then see how much of the measure move you've got left. If you don't have enough of the measure move left, then leave the trade. You don't need to get into it, right? It might be a bit depressing. I remember my early days when I used to miss a few trades, and I used to be like, oh man, that was my chance. That was my chance to make loads of money, and I missed it by 5 minutes or whatever, right? That's fine, okay? It happens to every trader on the planet, so don't worry about it. The point is being patient and finding those opportunities. And if we are looking at this, yeah, so 1.47 would be an interesting area to be watching, and then you've got a potential 6% trade coming through. But again, very volatile coin. Be careful with this one, and that's all I have to say about that. Shall I just go straight into the next one, and then you could take was it the last one after that?
I've done some prep on ADA, so I'm ready to go on ADA. If you wanna, I don't mind if you wanna carry on.
I could do the other one. What's the other one? It's Flux, right? Flux.
Yeah, Flux, yeah.
All right, yeah, I'll do Flux and then ADA, and then we could probably wrap this up, right? Cool. Cool. So Flux here, I don't even know if this one's on TradingView still. I don't know. Let's have a look. Flux on the NASDAQ. Interesting. Yeah, so it's this one, right? So KuCoin or Binance? I think Binance will probably have more data here. Oh, God. Malwarebytes just scanned everything. Hopefully nothing broke here. But yeah, we can see here that, oh, okay, this is quite nice. It's quite nice. It's actually refreshing to see this one. Let's check it out on the daily. Oh dear. No, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. This is actually something that's quite prominent in the fact that we're testing our previous support here and trying to break through with consistency here. That's actually a good sign. What I will say here in terms of the parabolia of this, I don't know if that's a real word, just made it up, but we can see here that if we are looking at this, yeah, we had this kind of structure coming through. We broke the structure. If it does want to dump, it is going to be soon. And I would be definitely watching the 0.82 here. So not Fibonacci, but the actual price here. So yeah, 0.82 here. If we lose that on a daily, I would be expecting us to basically colossally dump down here. And that could stop literally down here. So just be careful with this one if you are long. But if we can break above this area, so 1.23, that is going to be very, very nice indeed. Girthy gains for everyone if that comes through. And let's just go down to these smaller time frames and see how this looks with any patterns. Oh dear, this is choppy. This is choppy, but you can't expect that with coins you don't hear of too much, right? They're going to have less liquidity. They're going to have people like whales that have more of the supply that can throw this around, such as this. So we'll see how this goes. And again, I don't know much about this coin. It's probably a super successful coin, but just looking at the chart, doesn't look amazingly liquid compared to a lot of the big dons out there. So that's cool. If we are looking at this as well on the 4 hour, I would just say, is there a pattern here? As we've got our more recent structure, a bit of spillover here. If we can basically reclaim and get above this I'll say 106, 107 area. I wouldn't say get into a trade, but I would say be watching this like a hawk if we get above there. If we're not above there and you're looking to invest in it, I would probably leave it for now, personally. And it's not financial advice. Don't just sue me if we bang it to $2 in a minute, okay? But what we can say here with this is, yeah, it's broken its immediate structure. It's broken its daily structure. So it's something where I would expect if it's bullish, it would play out more of a sideways consolidational area, just get that momentum back to the middle, right? And then have another attempt at this. If we do that and we get above, then fantastic, free money for everyone. Let's get this to the moon. Again, pretty impressed with this. Pretty impressed with this compared to the rest of the market. It's just something that it doesn't seem new enough for me to really say it's going to be consistently going up forever, right? Something that goes up is great, but it needs to be something that is typically on that rise, like in a consistent way, if that makes sense. I'm sure you guys get what I mean. But yeah, with that, we can see that, yeah, if we do want to come down, I would definitely be watching this 0.81. I think I said that before. Yeah, so 0.8. Basically 0.8, right? And then coming down from there. And if we were looking for a trade here, let's just take a look at this. This is not going to be part of the pattern because we've already broken it. But if we are going to draw something just based on something more recently, I think these lows are okay. I'm not... Again, I'm being forced into this essentially because this is super choppy. But what I will say with this is, I mean, there could be some kind of pattern here in terms of a channel which could be playable for a trade, right? So if we come down, let's do the downwards first because, yeah, if we do want to break down on the Bitcoin side of things, then this will definitely, will potentially come down at least, right? So again, losing that 8 area will be an area I'm watching, and then looking at this 0.76 zone for the initial dump, and then the bounce, and then breaking the low, and then looking for the fulfillment of the measure move. If you can short this, I'm not sure if this is a shortable one, but yeah, 20% here, 20% towards the downside. Super huge money if this does come through. Towards the upside, this is where things get very FOMO tingly. Let's take a look at this one, and we can see that, yeah, it's basically as we were saying, right, getting over this last high, getting into this next zone, and then looking for that move. I would probably even go as high as 23 to be cautious with this one, just based on potential traps and Bitcoin dragging us down, and based on the volatility and the price movements of this, big percentages. 13% here if this does want to come through. So it's okay leaving half the trade here because you can make 13%. It's unheard of money for a lot of people to make 13%. Even a lot of traders on Wall Street don't even make that in a year. So this is fantastic if you can find this trade, and this would be the way I would go about it typically anyway. So I hope you've enjoyed that analysis. I believe Chester has an ADA ready for you right now, so let's just get straight into that.
Yeah, so I'm not going to keep you guys too long because obviously we're coming to come to the end of the stream. So I think this will be the last coin. So just going to run through ADA very quickly on what I would be looking for my next potential trade here. Obviously, again, not a financial advisor at all. This is basically what happened last time we were talking. It was a rising wedge structure, rising wedge chart pattern, which tends to usually break to the downside. So we did actually look for a potential entry coming through. The measure move was quite large here, guys, was something along the lines of this. and we did see it break down pretty significantly, right? The breakdown was pretty significant, and we did see actually the pretty much perfect candle body close, right? The perfect candle body close in reference to major moving averages, guys. We lost all major moving averages across literally near enough all of the time frames here. We lost major moving averages across all of the time frames while still in our measure move down. So it was very, very nice for a potential short position, and it was pretty clean indeed. We did have a couple of take profits coming through, around 4% made. So enough about that. Let's jump through to what we're seeing now. Falling wedge chart pattern coming through. You can see the level of support on the lower side. You can see the resistance on the top side. Tested like 3 times now on the 3 hour. Let's jump to the hourly. Tested like a couple of times here on the hourly. So the measure move for that is going to be looking something along the lines of this. Will be around 8.49% there, looking like something like so. So that we're looking for a potential break to the upside here for ADA. If this does happen, it's going to be pretty clean. The reason why, because we are going to be above all major moving averages here on the shorter term time frame. Where are we going to be on the 4 hour? You can see the gap between moving averages looking pretty clean as well. Not that much resistance in the way apart from these 2 areas, maybe an area coming through here as well. We're just going to be using these as potential take profits if we do get that lovely ADA breakout. To be honest with you, I would expect ADA to actually do something. Okay, I would expect it to do something. It's been lacking off a bit, and after seeing such significant moves, we did see ADA moving like 10% in a day some point over the last couple of months there. So I would expect ADA to start doing something, whether it is 2-3%. So if we can capitalize on that, absolutely amazing. But this is probably what I'm looking for next. Also volume trending down as well. I would hopefully like to see a continuation of the current trend here for the MACD. But yeah, it's just something that I'm going to be watching. Something I will be keeping my eye on because obviously last time with ADA that was it was just such a clean trade there for that 4%. So yeah, if we can even bank literally 2-3% here, then yeah, I will be getting involved with that, and it will be very, very nice. But I think that's going to be it from me and Hamilton of Crypto today. Thank you ever so much for watching, guys. Do appreciate it. We will be back tomorrow for a Thursday night trade-off. Whoop, whoop. Favorite part of the week. Will be good fun to trade against each other. We basically spin some leverage wheels, spin some equity wheels, and we also basically just go head to head with like $300 on Bybit and just trade against each other, right? It's good fun. So yeah, if you do want to tune in for that, that will be tomorrow, probably a few hours from now tomorrow. A few hours from now tomorrow, around 6 p.m. here in Thailand. So maybe 12 p.m. Is that how you say it? Maybe 12 p.m. midday in the UK if you are in the UK. But yeah, so thank you ever so much for watching. It is goodbye from me, Crypto Chester. I think Hammy wants to say goodbye as well, and then we will end the stream there.
Yeah. Cool. It's been fun. Again, feel free to join our Discord, the New Money Network. It is in the description. We're going to be doing lots of stuff in there. Tightly knit community here, and yeah, put your TA in there. We'll award you the WAD machine. We're giving that away once a week, so feel free to do that. Help each other out. Telegrams as well. We'll see you in the next one. It has been super fun as always, and yeah, goodbye from Decentrahype. Thank you very much.